Okay, before I go forward, I need to address that I don't hate DreamWorks Animation. They're a studio that produces animated hits and misses as any studio's track record would show. Some of their hits have made a big enough impact that I still enjoy watching them, like Kung Fu Panda, easily one of my favorite movies from 2009. Though it goes saying, with their policy to produce at least 3 animated films a year certainly leads to a number of misses that creates a reputation for them. Whether it's with their sequels, celebrity voices, and bad joke after, hey, an occasional funny joke leading to one great big bad joke. Which isn't fair to say because the same studio that produced The Prince of Egypt will also have to produce Madagascar 2: Escape to Africa. So what would be the perfect film to showcase the worst and best of DreamWorks? I know. Oh no. How about the film that it ripped off, The Road to El Dorado? So our movie takes place in the early 1500s during the Spice Race and stars 2 thieves named Miguel and Tulio. They serve as our Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. One is voiced by Kevin Kline, while the other one is voiced by Shakespearean director and actor Kenneth Branagh. On occasion, the banter between each other leads to some funny lines.
El Dorado, the city of gold. This could be our destiny, our fate. Miguel, if I believed in fate, I wouldn't be playing with loaded dice.
However, for the most part, it feels like it was taken directly from a sitcom.
Back to Spain, yeah?
Yeah.
In a rowboat. You got it.
Great. Sensational.
And that's your plan, is it? That's pretty much it? Well, I like it.
So, how do we get on deck?
With a map, the 2 find themselves to El Dorado, the magical city of gold. And I mean, really magical, because there's like big fish and colorful birds and, oh, magic. The 2 are worshipped as gods to a misunderstanding and even get the aid from a friend as played by Rosie Perez.
Okay, so, who are you?
Yeah, what's your angle?
No angle. I want it
In?
on the scale.
There's no scam. Why would you think there's a...
Now, did you know Spike Lee was going to direct this film? Here's a missing reel I found from the Lost production.
Power. Fight the power. We got to fight the powers that be.
Now that's essentially the plot of the film, so let's talk about its elements. It certainly lends itself to a number of formulas that we've seen in a lot of animated films. Miguel and Tulio's relationship on screen is practically a formula in itself. They crack jokes, and then they get caught up in a chase. Let's watch it for ourselves to see it. Jokes, chase, jokes, chase, jokes, chase, jokes, chase. And speaking of formulas, let's talk about the music accompanying the film as composed by the Rocket Man himself, Elton John. Imagine, how could that have happened? Often Elton John's work complements the film fine enough. However, it's not a musical and usually operates with our main characters going through an emotion and Elton John singing about it. The characters go on an adventure,
Changing legend into fact. We shall ride into history. Turning myth into truth. We shall surely gaze.
Miguel is falling in love with the city,
I love you. I love you.
The one song that annoys me, and I hope I don't reveal too much, is when Miguel and Tulio have their differences and decide to part ways. Miguel will stay in El Dorado as a god. Again, that doesn't really make that much sense, since if he stays, people would find out that he's human and that he ages, but then again, the leader of the island kinda finds out that he's human. I think he finds out that he's human, and then there's that evil priest who finds out that he's human, and whatever. Tulio leaves, and this is what Elton John throws our way.
Who's to say who's right or wrong? Whose course is brave or run? All I know is all we had is over, said and done.
Now you're literally telling us to feel bad for these friends as they part ways. Shouldn't this been more accomplished if it was left in silence? But for all the film's flaws, it does have a certain sense of atmosphere to it. And I find myself getting invested into these characters more so than I should have. Of all the sequels that don't get made, I could totally see one for The Road to El Dorado. Now let's not go into how historically accurate the film is. If I live in a world where the Ice Age is interpreted as having a lost world of dinosaurs, then having some creative freedoms with an animated film is fine enough for me. I always imagined the over-the-top elements in El Dorado could have been a way Miguel and Tulio interpreted the city they witnessed, the same way Marco Polo exaggerated the East, and finding blue people with faces on their stomachs. I mean, what if Miguel and Tulio were actually stranded on that shore? I mean, they've got no food, no water. It's a possibility that they hallucinated the last hour of the film. Things like that are left open that make the film interesting because you have time to think about it.
You drank seawater, didn't you?
Oh, come on!
And then there's the animation, which I find particularly interesting in the way they combine CG elements to produce a 2D film. Remind you, this film was made before Treasure Planet, and yet somehow the CG elements mixed with the 2D is not often distracting, for the most part. Like, tell me those barrels do not fit in with the scene. It was like a prop made for an entirely different movie. How did they get there? But with all the good things I have to say about this film, why don't people remember it? My theory has to do with DreamWorks stand as an animation studio that produces trendy films. It's like when a woman's buying makeup. Now bear with me, I have to tap into the female demographic somehow. There are certain shades of makeup that get discontinued faster than others, which doesn't mean they're bad, but that they didn't work with the general sales. The makeup lines we still see persist are the ones with more shades than the original, which could be on par with the way DreamWorks has their sequels. Which is a short way of saying if The Road to El Dorado actually got a sequel or even like a TV series, then there's a good chance we would remember it more. Which is to say that it's not a terrible film. It's a fun action adventure film that really knows how to pack the adventure. Often it does fall prey to the cliches of most animated films of the time, kind of like the musical accompaniment by Elton John. But it comes together as a film that, in my opinion, is worth it. Now I'm Joey Tedesco, and thanks for watching this episode of the Cartoon Palooza.